critical, but this is basically, the second last episode. Next week will be the end of a, I guess, 3 months project that we've been putting in, work and time into. We want to thank in advance everybody who's joined us on the live stream. We want to thank everybody who's watched the SUPAFAM sessions after the fact. We want to thank everybody that sent us all these questions. We want to thank the people that have commented. Hey, much love. This was a first experiment for us, a new experiment, but we're not quite done. We got tonight and next week, and we're moving forward with everything that we've put together. Now, the project, I was actually the first one to host, I think. Oh no, then my whole thing shut down and it was Ali who took over.
Yeah.
I got the blue screen to death.
It was a disaster. It was a disaster.
It was, but we're used to disasters.
But you bowed out gracefully. You bowed out gracefully, I gotta say. It's like those figure skaters, when they do the 3 flips and then they fall on their backside and then they get up.
Yeah, they just pick it up.
They dust off the ice shards and the broken dreams and they just smile.
So I think I have mentioned in my commenting that the project was really a creative project, and it was a time for us to really, put in some time working on the verses, working on beats, working on music in the studio, and just kind of getting creative after such a long time of being confined individually in our homes. We kind of joined up here online and started working on some stuff. The end goal was not necessarily a finished product. The end goal was to create new music or ideas of new music for Nomadic. So here we are now, second last episode. We've got a private SoundCloud, full of beats, full of verses, ideas, choruses. And the question now is, can we, move forward towards maybe creating a song or creating a basis of a song, or maybe even more than one song? I feel like there's definitely some standout stuff in there, and some stuff where we, a couple people hopped on, and other stuff where, maybe somebody did a verse and the other person got inspired, just didn't get to the verse yet. I just feel like there's definitely some creative stuff going on, and there's a direction, a new direction, I guess, to follow. And so as we try to work towards new music, that's really the process. And this was definitely a different process. How was everybody's week? How you guys doing?
Hanging in there.
You guys holding it down? Hanging in there?
Hanging in there.
Any inspiring philosophical phrases that you learned this week that you want to share with us as you were going about your days?
Oh man. Nah, you don't want me to say that.
I don't.
These things. I can't say these things.
It's there's no boundaries on our show, man. It's a free show.
A phrase.
You want to be inspired, though, Mark.
It's like drink up and be someone, get drunk and be recognized. Was a phrase that I had heard a few years back, but came back to light recently. So. Beautiful. Okay. How inspiring is that for everyone?
And which one is it? One or the other, or can it be both?
It can be both. I just took it in as one thing. It's beautiful. That's it.
All right. Anybody got another one? Any more words of wisdoms from last week?
I got you're very reliable at being unreliable.
Fair enough.
But speaking of,
that's always a good one.
Speaking of musical phrases, I went into the studio this week to lay some loops over the stuff that we recorded, and I had a great time there. Shout out to Carte Blanche Studios, another of our wonderful connections, and man, it was super fun just to have the freedom to just re-listen. And Matteo, he was the technician there, is just really kind of like a good spirit guiding me and giving me enough guidance that I don't fly off into noodling, but enough space to remain in the creative zone. So I really appreciate that session. So that was like a nice a nice time I had this week related to this project.
That's all right.
Oh, Matteo Pellegrini, check him out. Great engineer, great sound man. Former colleague of mine. Can I tell you my philosophical phrase?
Yes, please.
It's a classic. I've been listening to a lot of like throwback 90s hip hop on my way to work on my bike ride, and the standout mood for today was, "Fuck the world, don't ask me for shit. Anything you want, you got to work hard."
Right.
I've been watching a lot of Method Man, man. Lately, he's like super like lucid. I find just like his interviews and stuff, his reflections on the past. From what we knew, he's got great stories.
He's the greatest person to interview in the Wu. He's the most clear. Like he's not always like, no, I'm saying like Ghostface is a rambler, Raekwon a little too like cryptic. RZA goes on tangents beyond belief. Method Man's the go-to guy. Yeah. And he's like working out. He's like he's new health. He's got like a new spin on health and like being an elder statesman of hip hop. And
I noticed that.
Yeah, love it.
Health and hip hop. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
Tally, we're looking for inspirational quotes or something you might have learned this week that will help us move forward. Anything on your side?
Yeah, actually, I've been listening to the new Machel Montana. Do you guys know who Machel Montana is?
I don't.
So he's a big Calypsonian soca man from Trinidad. Been around for a minute, but he's like our generation. So he put out a new album that is like the perfect hybrid of Afrobeat and Calypso soca music and all that flavors. It's called the Wedding Album. And he has a song on it called High Life. And he says, L is no longer a loss. L is a lesson.
Nice.
And that stuck with me today. This whole week, actually. I've been listening to it all week. And it's just like, yeah, that's the perspective that we got to think about life, like.
As we take L's constantly, we learn lessons.
Yeah, kind of thing. And not even take the L as a loss, like literally think of the L first and foremost as a lesson, before saying like, oh, I lost something, but rather what did I learn?
Okay, let's make an acronym. Let's make an acronym for loss. In the hip hop tradition of acronyms, LOSS. Learn. Only science of self.
Self. Yeah. Type of thing.
Don't learn only science of self. Not me lost.
But check out the record though. Still, Machel Montana is like he's a huge like soca king, Calypsonian. You guys remember that video that was circulating with Jagmeet Singh at some Caribbean day? Maybe it was Caravana when he was running. This video circulated about him showing him dancing at a Caribbean concert. That, yeah. He was dancing with Machel Montana on stage. Yeah, man.
Yo, is he from Toronto? He's from Toronto?
No, he's from Trinidad, but he's just international. Oh. He's just international like that. He's based in Trinidad, Miami, New York, whatever. Like he's everywhere.
I was just thinking that maybe he's his manager is Che Kotari.
Machel Montana?
Is that possible?
His manager is who?
The guy who.
No. I mean, I say he's our generation, but I think he's a little bit older. But you can hear in this record that he has a very good, he has really good knowledge of like Afrobeat, dancehall, soca, even kind of rap stuff. Like they flip something where it's like almost like a trap flow on a soca beat. It's really, really dope. And the whole record from beginning to end. And it's all about this marriage. Like it's called The Wedding Album. It's very creative. Yeah. So L is no longer a loss. L is a lesson. That's the melody.
Beautiful.
Lessons learned.
All right. Shout outs to all Trinidadian philosophers out there. Thank you for that. We're going to move forward to the creative part now so we don't get too lost in the philosophy. Let's get to the concrete things. So we got some new stuff today as we move forward towards the end, and maybe the end will be an amalgamation of everything where we try to zero in on something more concrete. But today we're gonna start off with a verse from our main man Wally, who's also holding down the ones and twos. We got a cool show today, and I want to say that we do have a very special guest in the house tonight, and I think you guys will smile as soon as that person appears.
Okay.
But first off, let's get right into the music. Wally, hit us off with what you got, and then we'll come back to you after that.
Yeah. Right now enter the 36 chambers. Still to this day we're like midnight marauders. Whether it's Sam HDG or San Henry, I'm known to the street to be a public enemy. This skin attracts popo just like a magnet. Their nightmare is the fear of a black planet. I'm black on both sides, it's a bizarre ride, and I refuse to get pushed into a far side. Now put an ice cube into my iced tea and make a toast while you sipping on your gin and juice, and keep them heads ringing just like Eric B. and Rakim. It's time for us to be paid in full. Qui ça? Qui mon cap du marché Saint-Mich sans fusil? Moi dis messieurs nous menti. Fusil, c'est 11 âmes qui n'en tête moins. Dante, I'm here to settle the score.
I had to fade out for this one. So.
All right.
Hip hop records.
I love that.
Typical Wally exercise. Let me take some hip hop album titles and
Black on both sides. Perfect.
right.
But you know what I loved? You know what part I loved right away and I got excited about? Is when you switched to Creole.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, where are you gonna go now? Because, and then of course, boom, the White Clef reference.
Wyclef Jean
Hits
sans
it.
fusil.
Sans fusil.
Yeah.
Dope.
That's Cuban. My iced tea was pretty dope.
Boy, is that a chorus? That sounds like it could be a chorus.
Could be. I mean,
That little snippet in Creole.
I
Yeah,
like
but
the way
actually-
it's like
It's
relaxed.
the White Clef.
It's real chill. Chill and deep. I like it.
Kind of you
Thank you.
slur it a little bit, you swing into it like it's a dope delivery.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Well, that's something that
Welcome, Wally.
I know Wally's been working on. 'Cause in our exchanges,
Lulu, don't worry, it's a loss. A loss is a learn only science of self, bro.
I'm painting that on my wall tomorrow morning.
Another stupid shit.
In our exchanges with Wally talking about creative verses, you know, sometimes, especially after rhyming for so many years, sometimes we almost feel like we're just doing the same thing. And one of the things we talked about with Wally was spacing out a bit more. And I noticed that on that verse.
Yeah.
You come in, leave a nice space, come back, right? Less words and actually a lot of space between each phrase.
Mm-hmm.
So that
That particular beat too, you could let it breathe, man. I did a lot of work this week to that loop, just like getting in the trance of that loop. It's a JMF beat, that one, I think.
It's a jam. It's funny when you also leave a lot of space in your rapping, you know, especially on that beat, you know, you leave a lot of space. It seems like your verse is longer, but it's all an illusion because your verse is not longer. It's just you have space, but it's very interesting.
Is it like a Tao philosophy? Work less, do more.
That's so funny though. We were just talking about Method Man, and you open your verse talking about 36 chamber. That's like
crazy. You're right.
This alignment is a little bit
you're right.
intense.
You're right.
Let's just say that Nomadic has always been in tune with the cosmos. Okay.
True. No, real talk though. Like showing up at shows, and we're kind of like already visually, like aesthetically dressed in a vibe without ever discussing it. Like we got to that point.
Do you remember when it stopped raining?
When I remember when it was nothing like that. Yeah, I do.
No, the Jazz Fest. I'm saying when the rain clouds parted, just for our show, and then we finished, and then it started raining right afterwards.
Yeah, there was that Algerian singer that was just before us, and it got rained out. Her show got rained out.
Yeah.
Layla, something or other. Mm-hmm.
We matched more times when we didn't talk about it than when we tried to.
True. That's so true.
Right? Because the stress of trying to like match was always like strange at the end. Or it was really like monotone, like everybody with yellow shirts and black pants. Remember that one? We looked like UPS delivery crew.
Once remember we came dressed up as the staff. We had the same color as the people that were manning the show.
Right.
You don't remember that?
No, but I don't. It's not a
I
surprise
don't
me
doubt
at
it.
all.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, I don't doubt it one bit. All right, guys, let's keep
But I
moving.
never
Let's
got
keep
to wear.
moving.
But I never got to wear his baby blue suit. Remember what were we supposed to do that for? He was supposed to wear a baby blue.
Baby blue suit.
Everybody, the whole band was supposed to wear.
We were
powder
supposed to
blue
wear
baby
suits. Yeah.
Baby
Yeah.
blue, bro.
Yeah, baby blue powder baby blue.
Powder
with the
baby
ruffled
blue
shirts.
suits with a ruffled shirt.
Bud is also one of the only people in North America who's performed in as a drummer in flip flops.
True.
Right?
How you know the only person in North America?
Well, I
pretty sure
challenge
I-
anybody to find.
True. I've never seen anyone do
Yeah,
that.
holler at me. I'll battle
Maybe
you.
maybe
How
a
about all
sound
them
check.
folks that don't got shoes but can still drum?
Yeah, but they're
Extra
not
gigs
wearing
and that,
flip flops.
Flip
Doing a gig
flops,
in flip-flops.
surf, being a surf
Putting
band.
it out there. I'm putting it out there, man.
Yeah.
He got called out too. I remember at a Cardinal show. What's his face? I forget his name, but he hosts a blog in Montreal. He hosts a podcast. Not Cerveau. Starts with a. Anyway.
Goofy well
Voilà, Goofy well done. Goofy well done. Saw Butter come up, and he's like, "Qu'est-ce que tu fais, man? Qu'est-ce que tu fais en flip flops? Comment ça, you know?"
Comment ça? Yo, c'est quoi tu fais là?
Yeah, but do you remember that show? That was at Manifesto in Toronto?
No, that was the Cardi show with the Dr. Phil.
Oh, out in that was
in
my
Saint
first
Hélène.
show.
It's
That
in
was
Saint
my
Hélène,
first show.
Bambury.
That was my
Bambury?
first
Was it
show
Bambury?
Wow.
at Banbury.
Bambury.
That was my first show. Je
And
reculais.
Cardinal.
I was singing and I was going backwards.
Oh, with Uncle Carl.
See that?
So true.
I see that. There's this thing with the shoulders in. The shoulders in.
And the organizer was Uncle Carl.
I was doing going backwards.
Carl
Who's Uncle Carl?
from Fresh Prince. He was the head of the
Phil.
Jamaican
Uncle
Association.
Uncle Phil.
Oh, Phil.
And Cardinal did
Really that
Cardinal
dude?
did
Or
two
is it you
songs.
just saying? Was it really
Yes.
that dude?
No,
Really?
it wasn't really him. It was
No.
Looked
the
like
head of an association that was supposed to pay everybody and he was the money guy, and Cardi was like,
Cardi did two
right.
tracks.
he's like,
It was
I'm gonna
like-
do 2 songs because I love you guys, but I can't do any more because I haven't gotten paid yet. Oh,
Yeah.
and it was
Didn't
like,
Why Nuck play that show before
Yeah,
us?
Why
Yeah.
not came down. Bad news also was with Wyanuck at that night. as well.
Yes.
Rest
Yeah.
in peace. Yeah, for
I
sure.
remember that. Boy.
And
Pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Frank
Obia
Jean
was
Drapeau,
there.
right?
Obia was there with his sister. Remember they had a crew. His sister.
Yeah. So crazy.
Yo.
yeah, is my mic like way better now?
That's
Yeah.
good.
stunning.
Stunning. Why not rolled in with like 40 dudes?
Yeah.
On est là. Remember that?
Mhm.
He had a whole crew just like
More people on the
stating
stage.
presence.
More people,
More
on,
people
the stage than in the crowd.
No, yeah, but he rolled into the crowd with the 40 dudes just to say we're here, you know, first.
Yeah.
And then he performed. Anyways, let's keep it moving. We got more music. Shout out to Miriam, who I believe has a show. Can't be here with us tonight, but we're happy
Miriam.
that we're happy that everybody got is starting to do shows outside of their living room, and we're gonna listen to what she sent. So we haven't heard that yet. Let's check it out.
Oh, but before I had a beat, yo.
Oh, my bad. Let's go with your beat. Let's go with
And then we'll go to Jump to Miriam real quick. That's actually a skit. It's just a skit.
It's a beat and a skit.
Well, it's more.
A skit with a
It's
beat.
a beat. It's a beat, but yeah, whatever.
the beat, but not really a beat. Social
Yeah,
worker,
exactly.
but not really.
Yeah, ham, not really ham.
I think that smiling in public is against the law.
Gun control means using both hands in my land.
I think that smiling in public is against the law.
No. It's so easy.
Gun control means using both hands in my land.
That's it.
Whoever played the drums
Oh,
on
yeah.
that was really dope, bro.
It's actually you're playing.
I know. That's why I said
Playing that.
That's why you know why he said that.
You know why I said that. Come on.
Yeah, for sure. And then the rest is like one of your session. You guys were actually joking. Mark was there, Ali was there, and then JM was there. You guys were just like, it was, you guys hadn't start jamming yet. You guys were just playing some stuff and joking around. And there was some cool notes, and that's the keys that I just chopped, and I put it on top of your drums, and then I added this bass, but this bass is not a real bass, but I'll ask Mark.
It's a very fine bass. Made me happy.
That's cool, and with the chops, with the samples in there, that's dope. That's a nice
one of my favorite songs too of all time. It's So Easy by De La Soul. That first sample.
Shit, actually, Stakes is High, bro.
Stakes is High. Same album.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Luckily it is. Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot.
Fool me once. Shame on.
Apple-worthy stuff on the National Archive website.
Yes.
So you called that one a skit. You felt it would be like something like an interlude on a project that would pass by.
Yeah, like Tali just said, it sounded more like an interlude because it's hard to play around with samples that has many voices on top of it and chop the drums and stuff like that. So it's some stuff to redo that can develop to a complete song or a skit. But I just chopped the stuff from De La Soul just to give it, I guess a sequence because it was like pretty much the same.
You know who I hear on that skit? I hear like ideally we have like microphones set up in a practice space before Talia arrives, and then Talia arrives and goes, "Yo!" And right? Talk about some crazy like.
Is that how I
had a crazy story.
No, but when you walk in, the sliding door opens. And you go, "Yo, you wouldn't believe that." Just go on this like.
Yo, I got it. Yo, you wouldn't believe story today. I got one for this week. But anyway,
let's record it now and then just drop it on that beat. Perfect. It's like those Wu-Tang skits where the guy's like, somebody just got shot. Remember the like, yo, Jerome from 12B or something got his whole head blown up on it. Is he dead? What the fuck you mean?
My story is very close.
Uh-oh.
Well. Let's jump to. Thank you, Juan, for that. Let's jump to Miriam's creation, so we can hear that.
Let's do it.
Nice.
Been waking up dumb early in the morning, spirit wide awake when my brain is still yawning, receiving messages crystal clear on my blockages, disappear as if equalize pressure pop my ear. Nature whispers secrets right before the sunrise. When I take heed and listen, I'm turning up the sunrise. Should I put my guard down or throw him up? Please send someone on the ground, this was blowing up. Yeah, now that it's been years, I've been yearning for only your guidance to lead my discernment. The type of alignments that magnifies the assignment. Existential exploration in the middle of confinement. Achieving peace in the middle of chaos. So I find the keys to unlock the takeoff. Should I stay or should I go? I don't know. But it's hard to stand idle on a sinking boat.
How to stay idle on a sinking boat.
Sinking boats.
Sinking boats.
We were looking for philosophical quotes. So it is hard to stay idle on a sinking boat.
Yes.
Nice. Well, Miriam's not here to sort of explain her thought process, but we can still react to it.
Yeah, most.
I thought the energy matched the beat very nicely.
Yeah.
And
laid back.
I like the whole visual.
And that laid back flow, yeah.
Yeah, I like that tone as well.
By the way, just to quote Miriam when she sent the beat and by email, she said that is like it's not her best take, but at least the idea is there. That's what she said.
Well, that's what this is all about.
That's what we all say.
Yeah,
that's what we all say. Miriam loves the reverb.
Yes, she does.
This week again.
You discovered.
Dope.
She actually lives in a long palatial hall. Actually, that's where she does all her recording.
What was that? What was the name? Large plate.
Yeah.
Chandelier in the
Large plate reverb.
Cathedral.
She actually installed one in her larynx. Now it's a new thing. Anyways, I went too far.
Right.
Went too far.
You did. The limit. Speaking of butter beats and limits, you went past your limits again. You got a.
Does he have any? Does Butter have any limits?
Hey,
I've yet to see it.
If he does, he goes past them.
I'm a man of adventure
We know.
and brazenness.
We know.
Let's move to music.
Check out these topics and more at whitepeoplerootingforotherwhitepeople.com.
That's it. That's it.
That's the first plug.
You didn't buy that. You didn't buy that name yet, right? Okay. All right. Let's go with Butter's creation for week 11. Hit us up.
What happened? Okay.
That wasn't me.
That wasn't me.
It
It was me, actually.
That wasn't me. but it
That was Mark playing a joke.
I was like, that's not me. That's not me. Actually, that's me.
That was Mark coming with the comedy hour
I
for
was
your ass.
looking around like, what is that? Where's it come from? Oh, yeah. All right.
That was an epic intro for Butter's verse.
Yeah, that's exactly how I imagined the verse would.
Everybody cheer.
Start. Yeah. This is JMF's beat.
From me, try to cry, but nobody listens, Lord. To each his own until they try to fuck with mine. And I gotta pull out the monster that I be keeping inside. Cold as ice, they try to take the vision from me. Try to cry, but nobody listens, Lord. To each his own until they try to fuck with mine. And I gotta pull out the monster that I be keeping inside.
Rau, 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 rau. El monstruo. El tigre ahora es el monstruo. Rau, rau, rau.
Rao, rao, mami.
Rau, rau.
Okay. So
Mami, tú eres un monstruo. Mami, tú eres un monstruo. Rau, rau,
Mami,
rau.
tú eres Black Mission.
Yeah, mami, tú eres un
Rao,
Black
rao.
Mission. Black Mission.
What was your inspiration on that one, Butter?
Dudley Perkins.
No, I mean, that's like this just, I love singing falsetto. Like I love the falsetto, tongue-in-cheek shit, and I like being a little saucy and gangstery. So
I think you should push it. I think you should really exaggerate it.
You haven't heard some of the songs. Yeah, it's very controlled. I did it.
It sounds controlled.
You know where I did it? You know where I recorded that verse? Let me tell you about how little time I have sometimes and how dedicated I am to recording. I do, I'm working at the college, right? And so I do a lot of stuff on Zoom, and we have these like lapel mics or whatever, these Sennheiser mics. And so like in between a break in a class, I was like, oh, let me just check out SoundCloud. I hadn't really had any time to write. So I was like, let me just see if I can find something real quick. And then that was the first beat that I chose. And I was going through SoundCloud, like looking back to see if any of the students were coming back. And then I pressed on the middle part where that song came in. And then I was like, da da da. And then so I just started writing. And then I recorded those three things like this.
All the lapel mic. That's a good lapel mic.
Yo, I was like, I should buy that mic. And
it's not about equipment; it's about intention.
Yeah,
nice, man.
But
I like the way you fill the space. You fill the space. But sometimes when I hear those beats, I'm like, what do you anchor yourself to? Because it's so like ambient, is how I hear it. But then when you drop whatever verse you did it in the last one too, it all of a sudden starts to make sense.
I like not starting on the one anymore. I like it's a big musical, like lyrical thing for me. like what Wally and Lou were talking about space as well. I'm a very verbose rapper. Like I'm a rapidy rapper guy, you know. So even in my rap writing, I've been looking a lot at what the guys from the South really have accomplished and championed. Even if I'm not super into a lot of the stuff, I feel like the way that cadence and flow, like where it's gone to in terms of the art form, I think it's at its all-time high.
I like what you said in that verse, and I think like there's something to build on that track using that chorus and that style. And when you record it, I think it's a really exaggerated falsetto, so also that we hear all the lines, but I hear it, I see, you know, how it would fit in a song.
I feel like I need to drink like 2 glasses of rum and smoke at least 1 cigar to get that real like with the
a little bit of
sultry,
a rasp,
the sultry sound.
but it's dope.
Thanks.
It makes sense, like what you say in that style, like singing in that style with what you've said. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think that's something that we should really pay attention to, is like what we try to deliver in terms of melody or even in terms of lyric, and the style that we choose to deliver that in, like the tonality and the voicing of it. Because I think, I don't know, I'm not just saying us, but I feel like people don't pay enough attention to voicing of the voice. You know what I mean? There's people think about voicing in instruments a lot, but like just how you're going to, it's more than just intonation, you know
Texture,
what I mean?
you mean, of the voice?
Yeah, texture, timbre, whatever you want to call it. Voicing is the word that's coming to mind, but like it's just like certain words.
It's really important.
First of all, certain words you can't sing, but people do it and it's not that great. But
Yes,
also
terrible.
like
Like
when you
marshmallow.
put,
why would you sing this? Why would you say the word marshmallow? Like marshmallow.
but it depends on the style,
No.
right? Like if you were some sort of punk, indie punk, like dream pop, I can hear somebody being like marshmallows, ding, 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 type of thing, right? But
Song, actually.
But this really worked. I think the lyrics of what you said in there with that falsetto thing, if you record that again, like with more conviction, that'd be a hot track.
Sick.
With some like really nice rhymes, you know? I mean, all of us, I'm ready to jump on that track.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Hoppity hop. And
it's
the
a
beat's
lot
really
of
cool. The beat's really cool. I think I really like what JM did with it. Like there's a lot of nice subtlety to it. It's like there's a lot of musical potential too, because he hasn't really committed a lot. It's just a 16 bar section that he had submitted and put on the SoundCloud. So there's a lot that can be done musically as well. You know, and I was also, when I was singing it, I was also hearing like you guys backing me up at singing it, you know? Something that we've never really done on a record, to be honest.
Absolutely. And you did that on another beat as well. And I think it pushes everybody to, again, step out their comfort zone. But even once you start doing more and more of that, I follow up with what Tally said about your voice, because you know, sometimes you either try to stay close to your real voice, or you stay close to the voice you've chosen as a performer. But there's so much more in your tone, and we shouldn't be scared to step out of that. You know, a lot of the great tracks is like they come in with a different voice, and a lot of our favorite MCs have a whole bunch of voices. That goes for reggae as well. That goes for soul, for music, basically. You know, so try out different things. I want to give a shout out to Tally for being so invested tonight, because I can tell she is exhausted.
Every once in a while, her head goes out of the side of the screen, and then she like catches herself back. She's like,
Cool, let's keep it moving, because our special guest is definitely arriving in a few minutes. So we got one more beat from me. Let's get right to it, and I can't wait to have you guys react to it.
And I want to see where you don't say what hey. And I want to see where you don't say
got a verse?
No verse and just that little chorus, but that wasn't even supposed to be on there. I guess I left it.
Okay.
Just the vocal idea.
I love
I totally hear like Supersonic.
Try your verse, Tally, on this one? Oh, all right. Okay. Almost sounds like la da dee la la.
Chancleta, aguacate, chancleta, aguacate. That's hype.
Yeah, whatever's on within my brain with wrong. Traveling, let my mind go blown. 1 second, man, something's wrong. Can't just leave it down, push these stones. Turn your back from the front, you slacking. What we do is worth more than rapping. Either ways, the next time we gapping. Back to roots, so that the big fruits. Last live, contributing.
About it. You can fill it up.
Okay. I thought there was a different.
Oh, send me that one. Send me that. I got ideas.
That's dope.
I like to jump on that one, get like guitar wise for sure, man.
Nice.
Oof.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Wow.
Excellent. Cool, man.
That was really good, Loopy.
Like that.
Thank you.
Triangle to
Thank
that.
you.
There's a lot of good
Triangles
reactions.
will come.
Great.
Yeah, that bass is just like a little synth, you know, but a real,
No, I love
real
it.
bass behind it will be nice with it.
Yeah, double it up. Yeah, make it fat.
I feel like Lou has entered a new phase in his production. I've known Lou for a long time.
Absolutely,
I've heard Lou's beats for a long time,
I agree.
and he's coming into
Legend,
a
man.
new
Legend on some new stuff.
version of you.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I agree.
Well,
That's hot.
thank you, man. Thank you. And I mean, it's. I gotta say, every time I do something for Nomadic, I go somewhere else that feels, more open. I feel more free than when I'm doing stuff with like loop sessions. That's really like hip hop based, and I go straight into the hip hop thing. But with Nomadic, I'm always excited about the idea that a lot of people will be on it and it'll become something. So thank you for the inspiration. We're about 2 minutes away from our main guest person stepping in. We do have a question this week from somebody, so I'm gonna ask that question, have everybody sort of react to it, and then, like magic, our special guest will appear onto the screen.
But yo, real quick, Lou.
Yes.
What do you say in the chorus? Just real quick, I want to know. What were you
Man,
saying?
I don't remember. Yeah, something about
Que el agua me sigue.
El agua sí me viene. You know, say, but like, it
Y no
doesn't make
sé
any
por
sense.
qué.
It's like,
Okay.
yeah, the water comes down and I don't know why. Like,
All
it's
right.
just words that came up. Like
I
I, said,
heard-
I forgot to mute it.
I
Okay,
heard
so-
I heard el agua me sigue, you know, say, but like the water follows me. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
El
I
agua-
think we could find the meaning in what you said.
yeah,
Yep.
that's a philosophical quote.
all right. So why is the sky blue? Why is
Oh
water
shit,
wet?
Loopy's froze.
Yeah,
Oh no.
Oh, that's a good
We-
face. That was a good face to freeze, though.
right.
There he is. He's back.
There it is.
He was overwhelmed with emotion.
No.
That's the I just ran into an acquaintance as I'm riding by trying to get by very quickly.
in the market,
So,
supermarket.
I gotta go. I got
The question.
so check this out. The question is as follows.
the question.
And our guest, our special guest, can even chime in onto that. But the question comes all the way from Brixton. It wasn't said where, but I assume it's the neighborhood in London, England. So that's the second.
Brixton,
Canes.
Saskatchewan.
What?
All right. So Canes from Brixton. Shout out.
What up?
It's a very simple question, very straight up question. Guys, what does hip hop culture mean to you?
Oh shit! What? DJ Static.
What's going on?
What up, bro?
Oh man.
There. That's the answer. That's the answer right there.
What does
My
hip-hop
man
mean to
learned
you?
English. My man
It has
learned
a
English
beard.
listening to hip hop records.
Right,
Oh.
amongst a few. So we want to give a very special welcome to our main brother
Good to be here.
Wow.
from the other side of the country.
Long time.
Long time.
Yes.
And COVID love.
COVID love.
That's my
New
philosophical
mixtape
thought
coming
of
out
the day.
soon. New mixtape.
Every
That's the
week, you
one?
know.
With hits such as "Wear Your Mask" and "Why Are You Sitting So Close to Me" and other dance floor sensations.
Yeah. This time, don't spit in the booth.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Static, man. Static, thank you for being here. I'm so happy you could make it. You know what I mean? I know everybody would smile when they see you. And I'm sure, and I'm sure Mir, who's not here, is like regretting not being here for this one. But hey, shout outs to our main man. For those who don't know, DJ Static that you're seeing right there, above being the main DJ along with Professor Groove for We Funk Radio, going strong since 1996, I believe, on CKUT and online. WeFunk.com is the radio website. But anyway, you can check it out wherever you want.
Legendary.
But above all, DJ Static is Nomadic Massive's original and only DJ. So that's our DJ right there in front of you. And he's tuning in live from Vancouver, BC, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you're somewhere else.
That's right.
Some
On the West
DJs tried to send CVs after he left, and you know what? We burned them. We ripped them up.
We
and
bought a
burned them.
shredder.
We bought a paper shredder in our one-time office just for that, just in case. You know?
Not the sharing type.
No. So, no, this is a fact. And so, you came in right for the question. A question that came all the way from, we believe, Brixton, England.
Wow.
Brixton, London, England.
Okay.
And the question is from Keynes. And the question is, guys, what does hip hop culture mean to you? So I'm going to ask you, DJ Static, to start with. You tell us what hip hop culture means to you in a brief statement.
Wow. It was like basically it was like grounding for me when I was just uprooted as a kid. It was like a new family in addition to my actual family. It was a community that welcomed me in. It was a common language that wasn't just limited to one city or whatever, or one culture even. I grew up in Vancouver and then moved to Montreal and linked with the same like-minded people and just fit right in. It's opportunities and connections. Like I was, before the call today, I was thinking back, like just all the different connections and personal connections, friendships that hip hop has brought to my life leading up to Nomadic. Nomadic is not the first and definitely won't be the last, and it's just like a stream of connections. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's nice to. And yeah, the people that come into your life, like they stay. It's and it makes life a lot richer. So, and I'm thankful for that.
Damn. How are you gonna top that?
Very formal.
Thanks for joining our super fast sessions. That's all we need tonight.
Well, just to top on that, because it's something that follows you, right? I mean, 20 years after the beginning of your first show, 25 years after the beginning of your first show on the radio, for example, you might have other activities, but hip hop is still an essential part of your connections today and your life today. And, as a DJ, you never really let that go.
Yeah. And I kind of, you just like you guys were talking a lot about like how you create, like the process, like, I guess by now I've found my own voice more, but as a DJ, so it's still it's interesting because you're like a conduit for other people's voices in a way. But I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I'm not really in it to make. I'm not like a full-time DJ anymore, so I don't have the pressure to play what's popular either. So that's a real blessing. We Funk is big. More so than even in the beginning, it's now a labor of love. I find it's just what I feel every week, and no filters, no compromises, and just what I like to bump, and apparently a lot of people also like it, and that's the best feeling ever.
And I like institution, a contribution to a contribution to the history of hip hop culture, especially coming out of Canada. Like
and you guys all had a part too. Like we can't take full credit because me and Nick, we're like the infrastructure, but just the guests that come on week in, week out over 25 years, the artists that provide the music, like those are the real people that should take credit. Like a lot of times I almost feel bad because we're just a platform, really. We're a platform and just for people to jump on. And lately we had people, even going further, like beyond what we normally do. We have a lot of North American, European guests, and lately we kind of branched out. We have more South American stuff. We had we just this week coming up is Colombia, and recently we had Chile. So
nice.
It's nice, and we're about to launch into some Brazilian. We got some Brazilian contacts who are down to mix. So it's
Well, go ahead, Wally. Go ahead.
Can I say something? The day I realized that DJ Static was so passionate about hip hop was like many years ago when you lived on Saint Laurent. And you let me go through your vinyl collection, and everything was so organized, and every single vinyl had a BPM on it. And I was like, what?
Manually. You had
you do this manually?
Time, like a stopwatch,
I was
and
like,
then do the math because there's no like program back then.
Exactly. So I was like, then I gave a pound to my man DJ Static. I was like, bro, you are a passionate hip hop head and DJ. Much respect to you for all these years you put into that, because I don't see a lot of DJs who actually put a BPM on their vinyl record, to make sure they do the right mix. So much love and much respect to that. But man, I was so impressed. I was like, yo, man. Time.
Marie Kondo though, like organizing things makes me happy.
Marie Kondo, shout out to Marie Kondo.
That's the joy in your life.
Marie Kondo is the rap
joy,
world,
That's why you joined Nomadic, basically. Let's
Yo, Static Loft was the original rehearsal spot as well. It had that.
That's where Nomadic Massive was named.
Staircase,
That's the name of Nomadic Massive was there when we came up with the name. Before we went to Cuba.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, everything happened in that loft. Yeah, shout out to Jenny and her, her patties and her band on the first floor.
Yeah.
That was always
Static,
really
I have a
helpful.
question for you. Yes, a couple of sessions ago we played the Canada Cuba Get Down.
Oh wow!
Right, and so we had that performance from when you guys were in Havana, and some of us had left, and it was you, D, Wally, and Lou. And you on that record you play a breakbeat, and it's pretty much like one of my favorite breakbeats of all time. But I've never been able to find out what it was.
It's from one of the Q-Bert scratch records.
Right.
It's just it's got a bunch of like samples for scratching, and it's got a couple of beats.
Do you remember?
And
could you tell me what that was? Not now, obviously, but.
It's a scratch record, so the tracks aren't even named. I don't think.
Damn it!
You gotta get the whole record.
Random. I can send you. Yeah, if you like.
Send me a wave of that.
Amazing.
Breakbeat.
Yeah,
it's the best breakbeat ever.
That's what I'm saying, man. That DJ, man, DJ Static, man.
That's exactly what it was.
Well,
and he knew the BPM of that because he had a sticker telling him, "Oh, this is perfect." Dealing in the hot Cuban sun.
DJ Static and We Funk opened doors for me even the first time I came here in 2007. I got the address to go to a portal that was one of the first like online portals and the biggest ones for Brazilian hip hop. And I went to meet the dude. And as I opened the door, the guy opens the door, and I was rocking a yellow We Funk shirt.
Oh.
And he just looks at me and he goes, like, oh my God, you got the We Funk shirt, yo. We've been looking for that shirt for like a year. Like he went on and on and on, and he's like, DJ Static, Professor Bro. I was like, yeah, that's my boy, DJ Static. He's like, what? And he didn't make the connection. And anyways, yeah. So you've been having some international support and just love, man. Those fans are dedicated to Weed Funk. So once again, shout out. Don't mind us as we give flowers to our brother DJ Static, because the facts are, that's one very, humble brother right there. And humility is a virtue, most definitely, and it's important. But we want to just tell you, how much love we got for you, man. We'll do it publicly and privately.
Respect, much respect.
Yo, since Static is a DJ, why don't we go into the throwback track that I chose for tonight? And that was a little special track that appeared on a very special project that not too many people know about.
Let's do it.
Nice.
Sometimes you meet some people and it's just about inspiration. Stories shed light.
Yeah, I woke up and it was overcast, sipping water out of broken glass. I couldn't know the path if it wasn't for the past. Still I'm growing as fast as a shadow cast after a lightning flash. And I'm fighting that feeling in my bones, open mind, delicate heart, my soul that goes unspoken. Still I'm hoping that a laugh cracks the mask. We do well to appreciate what we have mercy.
Yeah, my world revolves to form zeros, false heroes. The lost hero cost me no mind. I carve from dust and toss the rolls in this tomb, love. No room to cross me on time. I split sun rays at the cloud one day like Superman. Flip mirrors into force like Nero. Till we lay in hover. Forever we convey the sugar while we pray to suffer.
La vague est dead, aucun monde pas vedette. Une fois au prince, ça qu'on l'épée, pas une folie grande tête. Tout haïtien dominicain, marcher ensemble, danser ensemble. Somos iguales, tenemos mismos padres. Pas dans un pilum, quel fois pareil pour m'parler. Paradis capite dans nous, même si ou Agadougou. Pour nous, chaque jour, c'est bénédiction. Nous, musique là-bas, l'espoir, changement, vision qui a clairé.
I met this lady round the way, working 8 hours a day, another 7 in the evening. Sundays for prayer meeting, not in greed that she's believing, but a better kind of living. Eyelids steady closing while her feet they stay in motion, and her faith it stays in check. Immigrant ain't what she reps, more like freedom fighter, cause it's all that she has left. Pass go a bunch of times while others wait for chimes. One day into another, brand new strength she will uncover.
Le changement, cette constante, se pointe à la bonne heure, comme la lueur au versant sud de l'horizon. Et passe l'éponge sur mes mensonges, m'extirpe de mes songes. Mes me comme Dambala du Panthéon. Sommeil, les yeux ouverts, fléau chez frères et sœurs. Réveil, éveil, sortons-les de la torpeur. Force est de constater, force ne fait pas l'union. Solution, la nation a besoin de ses bâtisseurs.
Start my new day with new ways to lead way to feel great. I never chase tomorrow, cause tomorrow I live it today. And wash my dirty clothes and feeling fresh like new socks. Feel this breath of harmony once you get the goosebump. Paralyzed like Botox, up a notch, don't let it drop. Reinvent yourself like spray, a new meaning I do bring. Sky blue light rays, amazed I'm born again. See, everything is transformed and nothing is created.
Up at the holy hour, stretch the body as the mind expands. Take some time before the city block gets louder. Escúchala, la ciudad respirando. El suelo se calienta mientras el sol se está estirando. Chaque rayon inspire un nouveau coup de crayon. Frayons un nouveau passage, ayons courage en prayons. Stay on track and map out the grooves of the day. And prove to yourself that your core is at stake.
That Jesse?
So definitely probably one you guys did not expect. I definitely forgot about that one.
Wow.
I think that's me playing, and I don't think I've ever heard that song. Like I know the loop. Yeah, I know the loop.
Shout out to Kitam V. Shout out to Elena Studney.
We got a comment here. We got a comment here on the chat that says, "Why is that not released as a song?" And it's
It is.
Yo, boy,
It is.
yeah.
Yeah, you can find it on our Bandcamp on a project called the 10-year anniversary tape.
It's the 10 years. Yeah. Radio tape.
It's a radio tape. So it's basically just us. It's almost like a podcast with some songs that people haven't heard and stuff like that. So that was a very basic demo version of the song. It never turned into like a fully produced track. But yeah, it features not only us, but also Elena Studley. So everybody make sure you check out Elena Studley, straight out of Montreal, amazing voice and lyricist. It features our brother Kamal from Toronto, Ian Kamal, shout outs. And then of course, you got Box on there, you got Diego on there. And
Narcy made an appearance.
And Narcy again. Narcy's like the third song that we played with Narcy's on it.
More than that.
So shout out to Narcy. Yeah, there you go, man. And I saw Tally like listening to her verse, not even remembering.
Yo, I don't remember. Honestly, I wish I could find where I write these verses. This is the problem about writing shit on envelope.
You know where you
on
wrote
an envelope.
Yes.
I can tell you, I have an image of you writing that in the hallway of Lou's apartment in Swale.
No, we wrote that on Decotre.
We wrote that in MBS.
We wrote that in MBS. We were at the table.
With 93 bracelets on one arm, jangling. Every vowel is like diggity clang, clink clang.
Yeah. I remember well because like Kamal was visiting from Toronto, and I think he had a show the day before, and then we were trying to connect with him and make a song, and then we met all at the Coutre and NBS downstairs, and we sat down. Narcy was there, everyone was there, and we started listening to the beat, and then we all wrote right on the spot, and then recorded right on the spot. That time was right on the spot. I remember.
I remember sitting at the table. The table was like
exactly.
This table. I don't know. Was the
fold out tables?
Yeah, the fold out brown table. But was
in the hallway in Lou's apartment on Swale, right?
No, I remember other things. I remember intense moments of confrontation that happened in that hallway in that apartment on Swale.
But that beat here, that beat that was like a long stewing beat, because that was one of the many loops that I think you had that loop since when you were living on Côte St. Catherine. And
it was one of those loops.
When are we gonna do something that's so dope?
It was a little part of a song that we had. It was that reggae track, and we used to go into that. Me and Mr. Mine used to have that little loop, but then it left that song, and then it became its own thing.
Oh shoot!
Another comment here says got that 90s feel. We got that in the comments from.
Once again.
Drum break is
so. Yeah, the drum break's nice with the little open highs and kicks. Before we wrap it up, I actually want to do an exit with a tour with a tales from the airport. I don't know, Wally, you got that airplane, gimmick sound? Taylor, please do it for us. Please. No, I was hoping you'd do the voice, the announcer voice.
Tales from the tour bus. Yes, Nomadic Masters, Tales from the tour bus.
No, so it's Tales from the airport, because
Tales from the airport.
Just about ready to depart. I should be away on schedule in the next couple of minutes or so. Flight time will be 9 hours.
Thank you. Airport, not airplane. So one thing Nomadic, we probably gonna go a couple of minutes over, but it's okay. One thing Nomadic is not, is definitely privy to is situations at the border, right? I'll put it flat out right now. We always went to countries with the legal ways, but some shows we did, there was a bit of a gray zone. So I'm going back now to, I think, 2011 or 12. We have a show at a showcase in New York City, Webster Hall to be precise, with Blitz the Ambassador and a whole bunch of other cool ass bands, right? And this is a showcase, so you're not getting paid. So technically you do not need a visa to perform. However, it is a bit of a gray zone in the mind of a border officer. especially when you show up with no letter of invite or anything like that. This one is particular. This one is particular for all you bands crossing the borders. Yo, do the visa, it's worth it. But in this one in particular was amazing because technically we all got refused, but technically 98% of us got in.
Right.
So I'm gonna just break it down a bit the way I remember it, right? Everybody was coming in from Montreal except me. I was flying in from Sao Paulo, Brazil, through Bogota, Colombia, which is not the best, place to be coming from.
You don't want that stamp.
Just do an easy breezy.
Yeah, you don't want that stamp.
Right?
You don't want that stamp.
So, however, we split people. I think some people were coming by land, so we had a few people coming in by bus. We had a few people coming in by air, and then some people turned into air after the situation happened. Was anybody on that bus alongside Bird? So the first thing that happened.
No.
Shout out to Blackbird.
I wasn't there. I was already there. I was already there when they crossed over.
Okay, so you were already there. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I remember. All right, this was my situation because in Bogota, I missed my connection. Long story short, so I already came in the day of the show, right, which is already stressful. I roll into the thing, and the guy looks at me, says, "Okay, go to that room." I go to the border, the border section, the immigration section, basically. And again, long story short, I spent 4 hours in there being interviewed by 3 different men who were all giving me different stories. But one of the main things they were saying is that everybody in the band, literally everybody in the band had gotten refused, and I was alone in New York. Mind you, I came from an 8-hour flight and then another 5-hour flight. I'm exhausted. It's like early morning. And I'm basically getting pushed by all these dudes. I had some notes in my notepad, which were the days that this store was open, so I could try to get a camera for my wife. And it said Monday, 7 to 8. So go those days. That's the days that store is open. Go those days if you can, right? And the guy was like, "Aha! I found your shows. Right there, right? Monday you're performing at 7." So I was like, what? So no, they went in hard, right? But the moment they said that everybody got refused, I understood that they were sort of playing, right? They were playing with me because I knew for a fact that a couple people were in. I think one of the most interesting thing is that I think one person got refused and went back and explained the situation and was refused based on not even based on the visa, based on an old thing that hadn't worked out or whatever. And then after that, some more people came in by flight.
Well, let me pick up the story from there because it left me and Ali. Ali and I were left because we were gonna come in after everybody else, but we were gonna take the bus. I think we were gonna go overnight, and the homie got returned by bus. So it started with this is way before we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have Messenger, we had straight email. So we were emailing back and forth, "Yo, don't take the bus, try to catch a flight," or whatever. So Alejandro goes, we didn't travel together. You left before me. I can't remember what your route was. Them days Porter had already started. So I think you took a Porter flight too. We both took Porter. I had to go through New Jersey, I think. And no, it wasn't New Jersey. I can't remember, but I took a Porter flight and I get to the customs or whatever. Everything's going nice and easy. But we've been communicating by email, all the who said what, who got in when, and da-da-da. So I know that I was the last person to get in. And I was the last person to get in minutes before the show started, because I remember I changed in the basement of Webster Hall in the bathroom. Anyway, so I'm rushing. I get to the customs. This lady's nicing me up. She's like, no, what's up? What are you doing in New York right now? I was like, yeah, I'm just coming to a showcase to check this thing out. Oh my God, you're a singer, blah, blah, blah. I was a part of the initial Band from America crew, which was a couple of years before that, which is what triggered the person that got sent back. So she was like, oops, I'm sorry, homie. They want to talk to you. So I went to the back and I was just like, here we go. But in this case, we didn't have the visa, but we had the right documentation to be at a showcase. And I remember I was reading.
Yeah, it was like the border officers.
The border officers were trying to play us, but we were legit. We had all what we needed. It's just that the person who got sent back didn't answer them with conviction. Trigger. And so that happened. Yeah. When I got there, I knew everybody. It was Birdman. And so I knew everybody was there, right? So I roll up and I'm reading Bass Culture at the time, which is a book about reggae culture and dancehall culture. So I have that book. And this guy comes with a piece of paper. He's like, do you know so-and-so? I'm like, yes. What does so-and-so do? And I'm like, he's a poet and a trumpet player. Do you know where he is right now? I'm like, my understanding is that he's back in Montreal. He's like, do you know why he was back in Montreal? And I was like, well, I understood that he wasn't allowed in. Are you saying the border officer lied? I was like, how did you jump to that? Wow. Anyways, so he's asking me these questions. Then he's like, how much money do you make? What do you do for a living? Da, da, da. And what do you say? He asked me a question and I used the word remuneration. And he's like, oh, I don't know these words. What is remuneration? And he's like, yeah. He's like, and you're reading this book about music, so you must be a musician. I mean, I did say that I was a musician. And I just got irritated with him because he was just like making up so much. And I said to him, I was like, look, I know for a fact that 99% of this band is already in this country. I was like, so if you're not going to let me in, just do it right now. I was like, but everybody else is here. I don't know what happened with that person and why they got turned back, but everybody is here. And he was like, had me sit there for like at least 45 minutes, sweating it out. And then he let me in. And then I had to like fly from like LaGuardia.
Wow. But it's funny that that you said everybody's in, because in my case, he was basically like, your whole band got refused.
Nah, man. I knew at that point everybody, because we were emailing.
I knew at least two people were gone. And I said, listen, I was like, I've had a long flight. Can you just let me in? I'll spend 4 days, see a friend, relax, and I'll go home. That's all I want to do. And he's like, what about the show? I was like, I can't do the show by myself. I'm not the
Yo, man, let me cut to my scene, bro.
Ali's story is funny though with the guitar.
I'm about to go through on the bus. I get the email or the text, I can't remember, and it says, it's like basically like breach, you know, been compromised. Leave your guitar, hop on the plane, you're going through Newark. I hop on the plane, dressed like
yes, it was Newark.
Like I was totally like dressed like, you know, a teacher. And then I get there, get pulled out of the line, and again that same thing. I'm getting the story ready in my head. I walk up, the guy goes, the first thing he says to me, "What's Nomadic Massive?" That's the first thing he says to me. And I'm like, the whole story like melts in my mind at that moment. You know, I'm like, no, you cannot say this. I'm like, it's a band I used to play with back in the day. And he flips out, back in the day, looks like you guys have a show tonight or something like that. I was like, oh man, these guys are great, man. I was really sad when I had to leave that band, you know. I left the band to become a teacher, and I was like, look at me. Like, do I look like a musician? I'm like, but I really do miss those days. Nah, man, I'm going to check them out, and like, you should check them out. They're super dope. He's like, he goes, sit there, and then I sit down, and then I read this sign that says, we are at liberty to check your text, and so you know, at any moment. And I see that, I'm like, you got 30 seconds to delete all text. I open it up, delete everything. This other guy comes in like a supervisor, kind of looks up and down. He's like, like kind of like what happened in Cuba. I don't know. That's another story, but it was like, yeah. And I went through, and then when we got there, I spent a good half an hour hunting for like a disguise, because the guy said, you remember, you may be banned from the country for 10 years. And I was like, that cannot happen. I love it.
Right. Yeah, and the funny thing is, you were actually allowed to be in there, right? Like,
yeah, we were. I think we were kind of novices in how to approach the whole thing, you know. But like, that's right. There's a lot of discretionary authority.
Totally it. breach, abort mission.
It's like Ocean's 11.
We were both at work. I was like, yo, Ali, what are we gonna do?
Wow.
Yo, but the connection is crazy. Like, and actually, the dude when I rolled into that room, he came up and he called me by my name, and then he's like, "What's your name?" I gave him my legal full name, and then he goes, "Yeah, ¿Tú piensas?"
Not
like,
your.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, also in some sort of.
Remuneration. That remuneration dude was like, I never met anybody who knew such big words. I was like, well, you should read a book. That
was too funny. I remember going through the border with you guys with Jordan Peters.
Yes.
Bird.
First tour.
Going to Boston.
Oh man.
Yep. I remember that one. I remember that we eventually all got cleared. And then the dude had our keys. He had our car keys, and we were walking back towards the car, and he was walking backwards, flipping the thing like this. And he was like, "What's in the car, guys?" Because there was some instruments. And he's walking backwards with the keys rolling on his finger, and he's like, "What's in the car, guys?" And right away we're like, "Oh, suitcases, maybe a couple instruments." He's like, "Yeah, what's the instruments for? If you guys aren't doing the show, we've been cleared already. We've been cleared." And he rolls in, and we're like, "Oh, the instruments." Oh man, practice, trying to learn the music, He's like, "Are you guys good?" Right? And we're like, I wish we were, but we're working on that.
Oh, it's so funny. And then every so often you'll get the border guy that loves music, and then he's like, "Oh, I used to play it," and then it's very smooth, right?
Yeah.
You started going into his son. Yeah, my son plays guitar. He's really good.
The guy you're talking about.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
Great dude.
Yes, we have had some moments at borders. How about the anxiousness of getting to the border of Switzerland from France?
Oh yeah, that was next level. That was next level. We'll keep that for offline conversation.
We can't share that story.
What about the black and white car?
The black and white.
Yes.
It
was a strategy.
Yes, the strategy. Yeah. And white people get so hurt when I tell them that we do that. Like, really? Why did you have to do that? People who don't know, we separated. We tried to balance the number of white people versus black people.
It can't be a black car. It can't be a full black car.
We never had one car, just black people.
No, and we didn't want to have either the white driver with the black people.
With the black folks.
We really we didn't want to look too suspicious.
And every time I tell that to white people, they're always like, "Oh my God, really? You did that?"
This is when Wally was the driver. This is the last one. This is a great one though. Wally's driving. We stop at the border, the drive-through border, and the man says, "Do you have anything to declare?" This is Wally, me, and my cousin from France who's visiting, who's 19, who knows nothing of any of this, who's just sitting there.
Because in France they just wave you in.
And he's eating a ham sandwich, right? And the guy says, "Do you have anything to declare?" So the answer, would be like, "Oh, I'm coming in with these CDs and I'm going to sell it, or, I'm importing this." This is the type of answers that they're looking for. And Wally goes, "No, well, ham?"
Yo, Wally, you have your classic ones, man.
I guess the thought was food, you know what I'm saying? Like that's one sandwich. You're not importing like thighs, thighs of pig thighs. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness, that's almost as good as cut mangoes. Cut mangoes.
And then the dude was like, ham? Like what? Like the sandwich. He's like, and then basically the answer was, "Go park right there, sir." Like that was the trigger, for like the face to face.
Man, I like be nervous, man. Just
too funny,
nervousness.
That's my mom's favorite nomadic story, by the way. Because I was you came when because that was the trip where you guys did Trinity when I had my appendix at birth, so I was in the hospital.
Oh yeah.
And he came back to visit me at the hospital, and my mom was there, and he told us the story, and I literally almost split my gut.
You nearly split your appendix again.
I couldn't stop laughing.
Man. Yeah, no, that was a great one.
I don't know. I mean, we can't tell that Ramon and ham is two different things, right? Two different stories. Ramon And I remember there was, while he was like naming somebody, he was like, who, Ramon? Or what was it? You're speaking to the border officer and you guys start playing like a who's on first type of situation. You don't remember that?
Man.
And he named, what does he say while he says a name of someone? And the border officer is like, who are you talking about?
Because ham in Spanish is jamon.
It's jamon, but while he says,
Ramon.
you remember that? Anyway.
I don't remember that.
I think we could do one with just the Wally interactions, man, because they're very unexpected.
They're worst. They're the worst.
I think they're the best, man.
We've had some special.
They're very disarming. The best part is that they're very disarming.
Yeah.
What could potentially be like conflictual, because that's what they look for, right? They kind of like they try and get under your skin in certain ways. They're trained to like spot the, like they try and infiltrate into your be the enemy, and they're coming to get us, and Al Qaeda. And this is all after like
I felt guilty.
Went crazy, right? So
I felt guilty of some sort of crime many times. What did I do?
A crime that you didn't commit.
No, never did.
You didn't commit.
Never did. But that's how it works.
Black people sometimes are a magnet for popo, right, Wally?
Yeah, skin is a magnet. The skin's a magnet.
That's an ill line. I love that line. Magnet for popo.
Don't I know?
Don't I know?
Well,
yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna call this one a night. I want to thank every single person that was listening to us, tuning in. I want to thank each and every one of you for your energy and for your creativity. Thank you guys for making this Friday night so much fun. And shout out to our main man, DJ Static. I wish we had a whole hour with you, man.
Good to be here. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Really good to see you.
Yeah, anytime you need.
Static, we're having an after hours party later, so.
Everybody, make sure you check out We Funk Radio, both online and on CKUT, every Friday at
midnight to 2.
That's the timing. Cool. So, we'll check you guys next week for the wrap up, the last episode of the SUPAFAM sessions. Much love, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll check you soon. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.